And get started. Good afternoon, boys and girls. My name is Jennifer Sherman. I work for the Ottawa, Sandusky, Seneca County Solid Waste District, and that's the recycling office. I'm excited to be here today to talk with you a little bit about recycling. So I want to start off with reviewing kind of the 3 R's, which are 3 words that we really try to make sure that boys and girls know. So the first word is reduce. Reducing means to try to make less trash. So some good ideas for reducing would be using a refillable water bottle, turning the lights off when you leave a room, taking a shorter shower to save water, turning the water off when you brush your teeth. Those are all great ways to reduce. The next word is reuse, and that's where you can reuse your trash and really come up with some creative ways to use your trash a second time before you move it on to the recycling. So today I'm going to show you 2 things that you can actually make from a milk jug. So a little bit later we'll be looking at turning a plastic jug into a sun catcher, as well as a shovel. Okay, so we can only need 1 milk jug to do both of those projects. So I'll be sharing a reuse idea with you in a little bit. The last is recycle, and when something is recycled, that means that it goes to the recycling center, and then it is sent to manufacturing or a factory where they're going to turn it into something brand new. And it's really important that you know what kinds of things you can put into your recycling, so I want to share a few of those with you right from the beginning here. So cans can be recycled. So I'm going to show you, we have some pop cans. Those are made from aluminum, as well as a steel food can. When you go to recycle something, you want to make sure that it's empty, clean, and dry. That helps with the recycling process. When we look at plastics, we can recycle plastic jugs, so a milk jug or a water jug. Okay, or even sometimes we might get juice in a plastic container like that. Pop and water bottles can go in the recycling, as well as containers like shampoo containers. So all of that plastic could be recycled. We can also recycle glass. So I have a glass jar here to show as an example. Jars and bottles can go into your recycling program. The last item that I want to talk about that can go in the recycling would be paper. So paper will depend on where you live. So we've got a few different programs that happen kind of in your area. So if you're in Genoa with a curbside program, they accept different items than say what Elmore accepts in their curbside program. So you just really need to know your program with paper. I'm going to share with you some paper items that can go through our programs at the township drop-offs, through our Aim to Be Green drop-offs. Through our programs, you can recycle newspaper. You can recycle paperboard, which would be like a cereal box, mail, catalogs and magazines, corrugated cardboard. Now with corrugated cardboard boxes, when you go to drop them off, we do ask you to do us a favor. When people drop the boxes off in our containers large like this, that tends to take up a lot of space and doesn't leave a lot of room for the next person. So if you can do your best to really flatten out your boxes, that helps. And then of course, printer paper and office paper. So all of that paper is accepted through our program. All right, so what I would like to do next is play a little bit of a word game, if you will. So I'm going to have Jen and Jude go ahead and turn off their mics so they can participate with me.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
That first screen just kind of reviewed the things that we were talking about, our paper, metal, plastic, and glass. All right, so with this, this is a 3-word puzzle, and I'm gonna have Jen and Jude just pick a letter, and when we pick the letter, if it's in the puzzle, it's gonna pop up, and if it's not in the puzzle, it's going to just drop down here to the letters already selected.
It's
Space.
like Wheel of Fortune.
It's similar to Wheel of Fortune. We're gonna try to get all the letters revealed, and then we'll read what the 3 words that I would like you to remember.
Jude, do you want to pick first?
Program.
Sure, I'll pick a R.
Good pick. There were 3 R's.
We need little Vanna Whites.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer.
All right. How about an N?
N.
Should I pick S? I didn't go in for that.
No N.
Oh man.
How about a D?
Okay, we have 1 D.
I'll try S.
I don't know. Let's try an L.
Ooh, can I solve the
On the
puzzle?
puzzle.
Jen wants to solve the puzzle.
Is it reduce, reuse, recycle?
It is reduce,
Hey!
reuse, recycle.
Mhm.
So
Get a
we'll go ahead
prize.
and reveal the rest of the letters.
Does
What
she
do I
win a
win?
car?
No prizes. This is just for fun.
Thanks.
But reduce, reuse, recycle, those are the 3 R words that we really want you to remember and take away from today's program. All right, I have one more puzzle for you to see if you were listening to how to get your recycling ready. This puzzle has 4 words in it. And we'll go ahead and start with Jennifer this time.
I would like a T.
1 T.
I'll take a W.
E.
I'll take a L.
R.
I really have no idea. I guess I'll take a O. Wow.
A.
So we had 2 A's, so that was a good pick.
How about an N?
And there's 2 N's that showed up.
C.
D? I don't know what. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, Y. I was like, it's clean and dry, but I can't know. I don't know what this one is.
Oh, I can solve the puzzle.
Yay.
Empty, clean, and dry.
Empty.
You got it. Empty, clean, and dry. Remember, that's how we want our recycling to come in. Empty, clean, and dry. All right, so that was just kind of a fun little way to reinforce some of those words that we covered in our talk at the beginning. So next, what I would like to do is to share the video on how to make the craft. So to make the craft, you'll need a plastic jug, some markers, a hole punch, scissors, and a window cling or a little suction cup that you can put in your window. And you might already have these from other craft projects that you've done. I have a video already made to share with you on that, so you can see the steps in making it. So when you first look at that milk jug, you might not really envision a shovel. So you can go ahead and draw the outline on it so you know exactly where to cut. All right, so there you have 2 ideas for reusing out of things that you probably already have around your house. If you don't have the suction cup to put it in the window, I had thought of an additional use for the sun catcher, which would be to simply put a rubber band on it, and then you can use it to mark your water bottle. So that way you know which one is yours. So you could sort of use it as a name tag. All right, to wrap up today's program, I am going to share a story with you. The story that I'm going to share is called The Lorax, and this is a classic environmental tale. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard it before, but I'm going to share the Lorax with you today. It's by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the old Onceler still lives here? Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grubulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Up, down sleps the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snargly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. So it all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped one tree. I am doing no harm. I am being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked at my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snarled, he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a crupulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough, they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also sloppity-slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off on, oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away through the years where my buildings have fallen apart. I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed, the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. And that is the end of the story. See the last picture. All right. I would like to thank everyone for joining me today. And remember, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And make sure that your recycling goes in empty, clean, and dry. Thank you so much.